Hello, stellar people, and welcome back to the channel, where today we will continue our final, well, perhaps our final, summer study of anatomy, focusing on the hand bones and the hand muscles. So let's get started. So first to begin, let's start with the radius and ulna, because that is your lower arm and that attaches to your wrist and your hand. So first we have the ulna, which is the inside bone, and the radius is on the outside. So your ulna is closer to your body. So say your body's here. Here's your right arm. Your ulna will be closest to your body. And your radius is outside, but is able to adjust itself to then cross over your ulna. All right, so it shifts as you move your hand from the palm side to the back side of your hand. It is able to adjust for that. And also the ulna is wider at your elbow. This is your elbow. The ulna is wider at the top and then gets slimmer as it goes towards your wrist and hand, while the radius is the opposite. It starts slimmer and then gets wider as it gets to your wrist. And so, right? So slim goes to a thicker. Slim, thicker, the radius, and the ulna is thick and it goes thin, going towards your wrist. So let's take a look at the wrist and hand. So are the bones of your hands and wrists. Right? There's a lot of bones in here. But let's start with, I have color coded the same as before, the ulna and radius. Ulna in a brighter red and radius in green. And again, the ulna is slim at the wrist, while the radius is thicker at the wrist. So we have palm side with your palm facing up, and this is the back side of your hand, where your knuckles and your fingernails can be seen. So let's run down these bones. So first we have the carpals. The carpals are all these little bones at the base of your hand, at the wrist. So all these bones are the carpals. And so we have the scaphoid, which is this rosy pink color. And then we have the lunate in pink right next to it. So scaphoid, lunate. We have the trapezium. I was about to say trapezius, but that's not that. Trapezium, right? And this light purple. Trapezium right here, right where the thumb meets. Trapezium. But we also have the trapezoid in blue right next to it. Trapezoid, trapezium, the two traps. We have the capitate in green, which is in the middle. Capitate. I have trap on my mind now. Capitate is green in the middle. We have the hamate. Hamate, Japanese, that's in yellow. Hamate, in yellow, it's fairly large. Right next to another fairly large one in the capitate. And the triquetral. Let's say that again. Triquetral. Triquetral. Again, with these names, they're trying to trap me. Triquetral. And that is a light orange. Triquetral. Right on the edge of your hand, where it starts to get wider. All right, from the wrist, it starts to go wide. And now these in purple are the metacarpals. Your metacarpals, much like your feet. These are fairly long bones of the hand, the metacarpals. And then once we get to the digits, it gets a little interesting because we'll start with the thumb. Much like your big toe, it's only of the phalanges. There's only the proximal, which is there, and the distal phalange. Proximal, distal. So proximal in this lilac, light purple, and distal in a bright orange, or goldish orange. While your other fingers, your index, middle, ring, and pinky, all have 3 phalanges. And those are the proximal, again in lilac, light purple, middle phalange, which is added, and that's a purple, the middle phalange, and the distal phalange in that goldish orange at the very tips. And that is what separates these from your thumb. Your thumb only has no middle phalange, just the proximal and the distal, which I've always found interesting. And those are the bones of your hand. All right, so for the hand muscles, let's first start with the forearm, because a lot of the muscles of the forearm end in becoming tendons for your hands. Much like the, I believe the flexor carpi radialis comes towards the hand, becomes tendons. Palmaris longus, because palmaris longus. Flexor carpi ulnaris. What else? Flexor carpi ulnaris, which is this orange one. Extensor digitorum. Those also, this blue one comes down, becomes tendons on the inside of your hand, real wrist hand area. What else? Extensor carpi radialis brevis, yes. Comes down, it goes into your hand, becomes tendons. Adductor pollicis longus comes down into the hand, becomes tendons. Extensor pollicis brevis also. So a lot of your forearm muscles go down, and as they go into your hand, they become tendons for a lot of the movements of your hand. So now let's look at the hand wrist. All right, so now let's talk about the muscles and tendons of the hand. So let's start with the color-coded muscles. Opponens pollicis in this light purple. We have the adductor pollicis brevis in a light green towards your thumb. This is your hand with the palm side up. In orange, we have the flexor pollicis brevis in orange of your thumb. And then we have these multiple limbricals. I think of the first, second, third. These are muscles of the of your hand, right? And flexor digiti minimi brevis in purple on the outside, on the pinky side of your hand. All right, this purple flexor digiti minimi brevis, that name. Purple. We have the adductor digiti minimi in a crimson, I'd say. On the pinky side of your hand, the palmaris brevis in green. Now I'm just going superficially over the hand muscles. There are a lot more muscles, but the hand is pretty interesting that there's a lot of muscles because of a lot of movement. But a lot of the forearm muscles become tendons of the hand. So we have the transverse carpal ligament or flexor retinaculum, but also around here, the palmar carpal ligament. And there's this band, right? Almost like a watch band around the wrist that holds all of this into place. The tendons, muscle attachments, bones, keeping it all securely in place. That is the function of all of this. It's almost like a watch band of ligaments, fascia, tendons, all bundled under here, under this watch band of the transverse carpal ligament, also called the flexor retinaculum or the palmar carpal ligament, right? Keeping all that. All right, so let's talk about the tendons and what helps move your hands, the flexing muscles or flexing tendons of the hand. So the flexor pollicis longus, the FPL, flexor pollicis longus, going towards your thumb on the palm side. We have the flexor digitorum superficialis. And these names. Flexor digitorum superficialis, the FDS. Right? And those extend to the fingers, but also there's moves that help the tendons that help the fingers individually curl inwards, right? So flexor digitorum profundus, the FDP, nearing the fingertips, helps them move under, right? But then on the back side, there's all of these. I'm not going to go too much into all of them. Well, actually, I'm not going to. There's just a lot of them, a lot of tendons. So a lot of the forearm muscles coming into the wrist, hand, a lot of tendons. And your fingers have this covering of fascia and right, retinaculum and all of that to help sheath the bones of your fingers, but also attaching to tendons to help with the movement. Whew. So we did it. Those are the hand muscles and tendons of the hand. Thank you for joining me on this long journey of studying anatomy. Maybe a bit too much. I don't think I'll ever do this again. And this one was the hardest one. Oh man, so many bones and muscles to learn. But anyways, we did it. Congratulations. And next week we're gonna make a dummy based off all of these muscles. I think we'll, pare that down into what we can use and physically see. We'll make a dummy that we can make move for us. And that's the plan. We'll see. So thank you for joining me. I will see you on the next episode. Take care. Keep shining. Power to the Creator. And bye-bye.